All right, if everyone please stand, we'll do the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Morgan Township meeting, July 12th, 2021 at 7 p.m. I could get a roll call, please?
Mr. Updike?
Yes?
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
All right, first off, we're going to move to the budget hearing. So at this time, if anyone has any questions or concerns, they can voice it on the budget. If not, we move forward to adopt. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022 budget, to adopt the tax budget, and make the temporary appropriations of the funds for expenditures of the fiscal year 2022, commencing January 1st, 2022, pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 5705.14, 5705.28, 5705.29, 5705.30, and 5705.38 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second?
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, so we'll go back to the regular meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the Morgan Township Board Trustee minutes dated June 28th, 2021.
Second?
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment listing from 6/29/2021 through 7/12/2021, payment number 440-2021 through 487-2021, and warrant number 10735 through 10760 for a total of $86,534.40.
Second?
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, at this time, we'll go to the audience. We have a Kelly Kraut with Butler Soil and Water Conservation District. Thank you, Jeff.
You can move that down.
Sure. Good evening. Thank you for having me at your township meeting. So my name is Kelly Kraut. I'm the director of Butler Soil and Water Conservation District. What we're trying to do is get out to all the townships and hopefully the municipalities this year and just spread the word about what we do and also some of the programs that we have coming up. We have a lot of stuff coming up in August, so I'm trying to get to most of the townships that I think will benefit from these programs. Some of you may know who we are, some may not. We were founded in May of 1942, so we're celebrating our 79th anniversary this year. We were formed as a result of the Dust Bowl to help try to promote conservation on the land. So we do help and offer technical assistance and guidance to homeowners and landowners with erosion and drainage issues. And then we also offer a lot of education programs. We go in schools, and then we hold adult workshops, either free or $5 or $10. And so that's a large part of what we do. So if anyone has, issues on their property, they want us to come out. We're technically free, although tax dollars do pay for us. We do not, we are not the water company. So if you need to pay your water bill, that's not us. As well as if you have water leakage, or a sewer, that's, it could be Butler County Water and Sewer or your other water districts. So the first thing that we have is a few years ago we did create a best volunteer program. We know there's a lot of students and a lot of people out there that want to volunteer. They just don't have any activities to basically volunteer at. So we try to have at least one program every month. Either it's on a Thursday evening or a Saturday. So we do have a list. We do have a lot of the stuff's more towards the Hamilton area. We're trying to get out in the other townships. So if there's ideas or places you think could be a great volunteer event, please send us an email, because we're, like I said, we're trying to get throughout the whole Butler County region, not just our centrally located. It's easier for us right now because we know the projects that are around our office. So we do have a trash cleanup along Canal and Bike Path and Canal Road in Hamilton. We do have our big stream river cleanup that's happening September 18th. It's usually in October. We moved it up a month because, I don't know, in the last few years it's been pretty cold. So we do have that happening. And then we'll have collecting milkweed seed pods, removing honeysuckle, and various activities. So we do have that. We do have well water testing again this year. Our office doesn't do year-round testing, but we do get a grant through MCD and Miami that we can test well water. For Butler County residents, we do partner with Preble County as well. We have 40 samples this year. We do ask that, COVID kind of changed things a little bit. We're trying to streamline it. You need to make an appointment with our office to come and watch a little video on how to properly collect your well water from your faucet so you don't get contamination. And then we also have an actual sampling bottle for you to take. In the past years, people have brought in mayonnaise jars, different different containers that we're not really sure were clean and sanitized properly anyway. So now we have an official bottle to collect. So call our office between now and August 13th to come and get a bottle and the directions. And then on that Saturday, August 14th, collect your sample, and then take that sample up to Miami University in Oxford, and we'll drop it off on Schuyler Hall. If you go up 73, it's the first building that you run into at Miami. Right now they have some construction. Hopefully they opened it up, and it's that little horseshoe area right there. So I'll leave that flyer if anyone does have well water. I'm not sure how many residents do or not. The other event, we were having another cover crop field day at our office. We have about 8 acres next door to us that the county owns, and they asked if we wanted to do something with it. Obviously, we weren't allowed building any structures, but Brady Smith from our office is really into cover crops and promoting the no-till. So we did a field day last year, and this year we have replanted the plots. So that is going to be on Thursday, August 19th at our office from 9 to 3. There will be free food and free ice cream. We'll have speakers and demonstrations. We just ask that people RSVP so we can figure out how many lunches we need to get. That will be inside our building for presentations as well as outside. And so hopefully the weather's decent. We lucked out last year. Another event that we are doing is on Tuesday, August 24th at Butler County Fairgrounds. We are doing an agriculture pesticide drop-off event. These don't usually take place in our area of Ohio. Usually it's up north or northeast. But again, Brady contacted Ohio EPA and ODA and asked, hey, can we have an event here? Because we do have farmers that have pesticides and chemicals that are just sitting in their barns that are kind of old. It's a safety issue, and obviously because we're trying to promote conservation, we don't want them to burn them or just throw them somewhere or let them leak out. So if there's any farmers out there that have old pesticides, they can drop them off, again, 9 to 3 at the Butler County Fairgrounds. If you have questions, you can contact us. However, it's for Ohio residents only, and we will not be collecting residential waste, so no paints or solvents like that. It's strictly the agricultural chemicals. If you want to pre-register, we've already had some farmers that say they have large shuttles that have been solidified. You can definitely call ahead to make sure that we have enough room, but ODA is bringing trailers, and we'll put a map on how to drop them off that day as well. And then lastly, we have our annual meeting that's coming up. Our themes this year is Backyard Bash, Take Back Your Yard Naturally. We are going to actually have it at the Mulhauser Barn in Westchester this year. That's going to be Tuesday, August 31st, starting at 6 p.m. So we are hoping to have a speaker. We'll have free food, barbecue. You can also vote for our Board of Supervisors election and meet and greet our candidates. And then several local craft items for auction. So again, all of those events are free. They are all on our website. I'll leave some of the flyers for you guys as well. So if you could put them in your township building, or if there's some other place that you think people would want to have that information, it'd be much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Would you want to put that herbicide drop-off on our website?
We can put a lot of that on our website. We've got a tab that's for community events.
Okay. And if you want us to send you some links or some other stuff besides, or the actual PDF versions, if that's easier for you, just let me know who I need to send it to.
You're gonna get her a card?
Yeah, just a few. Want to email your links to me? That'd be fine.
Yes, I will.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else from the audience tonight? Farrell?
What's the name of the railroad company that comes through here? What is it, Eastern,
Indiana Eastern, I believe.
Indiana Eastern? Okay. What I wanted to just say was, they probably don't get too many responses like this, but I had a problem down at in the back end of my property, and it's a large culvert pipe that goes underneath their tracks, and it was covered in silt, all kinds of debris, whatever. And I just happened to see them down here on Lehigh, and I stopped up there and I talked to a couple of guys there, and I asked them if they'd come down and take a look at it, and they did. They came down the next day, and they took a look at it, and they said, yeah, it needs to be cleaned out. And I said, well, is that not my responsibility, is it? And they go, no, we'll take care of it. Anyway, they came down with a big backhoe, and well, they came off the tracks, and they cleaned it out. And it was that day before that big gully washer we had, which was a good thing, because when the way they cleaned it out, once that gully washer come down through there through my creek, it washed it all out and cleaned it all out, and it's like it was 30 years ago. And I just want to say, maybe if you guys can give them a response, or if you hear anything from them, I just like to say that I appreciate them taking the effort and the quick response they gave me on coming down there and do it, because you know how it is. It usually takes a while to get anything done anywhere, and maybe they were just there at the right time or whatever, but they had railroad ties. They put railroad ties down there and put large stone down there, so they did a major little cleanup down there for me, and I didn't get to see them when they left, so I didn't get to tell them, So if you guys hear from them or say anything, or can drop them a note, I'd appreciate it, to tell them, the township appreciates it. So, okay.
Daryl, what I can do is I got the address of the guy who owns that. I'll forward that to you if you want to shoot him a note. It means more
Absolutely.
coming from you, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I will. Absolutely. I didn't know how to get a hold of them, and yeah, if you can do that for me, I'll take it and send it off. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Anyone else? If not, Mr. Galloway.
All right, we'll start off tonight with the administrative report. The American Rescue Plan Recovery Fund is moving forward fast. I registered our DUNS number, and Tina got me tonight the 2020 budget. So all I need to do is enter that in there, and we will be registered with the Office of Budget Management. We have till the September 14th to register the township, but I had a little bit of issues with our DUNS number, and then once we get all of the documentation in tomorrow with our 2020 budget, then I have to register with SAM as well, the other government entity, and then we should be good to go as a registered entity for the township. One of the things that, so the American Rescue Plan basically allows for the same things that were in there in the COVID CARES Act money for reimbursement, with an additional 5 other categories that I've discussed before. I got reading into some of the fine print on the 5th category, which is a highlight that I've highlighted for you tonight. And with that, it's making necessary investments to improve. And then one of the parts in the paragraph is vital wastewater and stormwater infrastructure. So I talked to Rob with that. That in our world basically goes along with repairing the culverts. So The next page in would be just a start of a project list that I had done. And again, this is just all up for discussion with the trustees once we're registered and that money is released. So if we have a deadline of September 4th, I'm assuming the first wave of the money will be sometime in fall. But these are some of the points that were made. I did confirm in the 150 pages of documentation that Rob, the road department, is declared essential workers. So they are part of that category. But there's just some things in here that, some ideas and some project lists, including the storm and culvert infrastructure. That would be an estimated $50,000 that would not have to be, because we were splitting that. We're having to take, part of that was out of the leftover Butler Bureau of Workers' Comp money, and then we're having to take, I think, somewhere around $36,000 or something like that, Tina, out of the general fund. So that would actually resort back all to the American Rescue Plan money. So it would actually be ahead than the part of the BWC money that we could use for something else.
I did mention to Rob after, because I talked about, got word of the culverts, to check some of our other culverts and see if we need more of them done while we got this.
Yep. Yep.
And I know you said, what, 5 or 6 for sure, that you thought? I don't know about prices or nothing yet,
I
but
don't have any prices, but I can go through this book, and wherever there's an orange cone in this printout from the county engineer's office, that is culverts that are a 4 rating or worse. So I mean, you can go down through the list and we could,
I think it'd be worth looking at and getting prices and
it's just
knowing
off,
what's going forward into this.
just off the top of my head, I come up with 10 additional culverts on top of the 3 that we've already said we was gonna do something with. The one on Morgan Ross, the one on North Wire, the one on North Wind. There's also a second one on North Wind that is not as bad as the first one, but has got some issues where we could just pour a concrete bottom in it and stuff, and there's several other ones throughout the township on different roads. Pretty good sized one down on Shanley Road. It's not really that big a pipe, but it's just a very deep, very wide, and there's lots of utilities over top of it.
So with that, I did get some intel today from the Ohio Township Trustee Association that Tina, there'll be a packet actually forwarded to all the fiscal officers with some of the further information. But as of tomorrow, I will be, and the only thing I needed left to register was that 2020 budget. So we should be registered as of tomorrow. So that's all I have tonight. I'm going to probably tag team on a couple things that Dale's going to discuss later. All right, so moving to the fire chief's report. The first item tonight is a motion for firefighter paramedic Joe Mormon for his 7-year anniversary effective 7/22 of 21 at a 30-cent an hour raise to $19.40 an hour.
So moved.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion approved.
You're good. I'm just seeing if Carol has the number.
It's number 110.
Thank you. Number 2, we've now announced, and folks are starting to study, we announced a promotional test for lieutenants and captains. The written test will be September 28th, so they're starting to study for that as well. There's been a lot of question about this, so I'm gonna put it out there tonight. The 2021 open house, we've postponed it until at least spring of 22. And we're continuing to evaluate COVID. So in Butler County, there's less than 45% that have been totally vaccinated. So I still have a real issue with having unvaccinated folks traveling through the fire station. And now, just in the last day or two, 23 states are now on the rise again with the Delta variant of the COVID. So we're gonna push it off, postpone it till the spring of 22, evaluate it then, and go from there on that. So the narrow driveway and roads campaign, we've had some good success with that already. We had 2 calls on 2 streets. handed some information out, and those 2 streets are already addressing it by cutting low branches, low-hanging trees, making a lot of improvements. I talked to one homeowner association directly, and Chief Griffith talked to another gentleman representing another street earlier this week, or late last week, and they're making some changes to their stuff. So it's working, and hopefully as we continue to put that campaign out there, we'll get some more of these private streets that'll do the same. So,
Can we go back to number 2, the promotion? Is that going to be
Yep.
the same process as the previous?
it will be.
Okay.
And we get to part 3 of it, we'll do the same interview process, probably with one of the trustees again in that 3-person panel. Yes, same process.
All right.
Yep, it'd be, the difference will be is the test will be the same, but the assessment center will be a little bit different for the lieutenants versus the captains, because the captains become a little bit more administrative, so they have a little bit more assessment center stuff than the lieutenants actually will, but yes, same process. Yep.
Do you announce these tests when you have the opening for a lieutenant and a captain?
Yes,
So you have those now?
We don't have them right now. We have one acting captain. Captain Fawns is an acting, so that spot is technically open. The lieutenants, we don't have those right now because of the way we're staffing. But the other goal is to use them, once the process is done, is have a step up. So they can step up into a position when there's a lieutenant off.
Okay.
In that process. As we get down the road, sometime next year, through attrition or full-time hires for somewhere else, then there would be a list created that somebody can step up to those open spots. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
That is all I've got tonight. I do have a executive session tonight for personnel. And no questions from me. Chief's got the June report and then an EMS grant report. All right, thank you. Chief.
Okay. January to June 2021 versus 2000, I have a typo there, it should be 2020. It's 216 responses this year versus 252 last year, which is down 36 from last year. Last month when I reported, we were down 45, so we've been a little bit busier. No reflection, just business has picked up. Average response time out the door continues to be good, 1 minute and 43 seconds. Where from the time tons drop, we have an apparatus out the door. Our goal is 2 minutes, obviously, and we're meeting that metric. Our average time on scene is 6 minutes and 49 seconds for all runs everywhere. So once again, this is new data we can get from our new ESO platform. Mutual aid responses, we transported one for Ross, and Ross transported one for us. So, kind of even. And the one they transported for us, we were already on another run at that time. We had 3 people on, so we had a first responder, but we didn't have another squad out. So Ross came and helped us out. And that's really it for that. If anybody has questions. We also were awarded the State of Ohio EMS grant again this year for a total of $2,898.34. We'll start spending. I've already spent 1,000 of that the minute it was announced, so we'll get to that real quick. It used to be Connie's favorite. I'm sure it'll be Tina's favorite too. But we have to spend it within a certain amount of time and get the receipts back and the reimbursement. So we tend to spend it early, but we have plenty of opportunities. That's really it, unless you have questions.
Good. Mr. Brown.
My report will be very brief here. The paving on Lehigh Road has been completed.
Your mic on.
It is on. The only thing we're waiting on is the striping to be done. So
I had a lady contact me, lives on Lehigh out near Indian Creek, and said that
Indian Creek.
or Indian Woods, I'm sorry, Indian Woods. And she said that there was a few people, 2 different occasions, looking at her culvert pipe. Her husband extended the culvert pipe so they could get their trailer in and out, their camper in and out. I wanted to know if there was any issues with her. I can get the address for you. But I said, I don't know that any of our folks would have been looking at it, but maybe somebody from the paving crew might have been looking at it.
Up that way, I don't know, because we stopped at Northland Road,
Right.
so it wouldn't have been the paving crew. I haven't been inspecting
Okay.
anything or seen anything that raised concern with me. We did some dirt patching between Weaver and the railroad tracks, but that's the only place we've done any work on that section of Lehigh, besides mowing roadsides.
Get her address here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And then, with the paving that was done on Chapel Road and Lehigh Road, we had some issues on Race Lane Road with all the dump trucks running up and down the road and blacktop being hot. Two different places where the trucks started to stop or were slowing down for curves. They started pushing the chip seal on the surface and actually broke loose. And I've got some pictures here after I cleaned all the material off the road last Friday night. One's about 3 foot, one's 3 foot wide by about 10, 12 foot long. And then the other one, I didn't get pictures of it, but it's about 3 foot wide by 8 to 10 foot long. But
Is that the one, Rob, down by Welch's? There's
by
one,
Buck Ridge, on the,
right
going
in the
down the hill
curve?
to the curve, where,
okay.
right,
There's also bad
that's the
damage.
one up by Welch's, the one
Yeah.
that's 3 to
Yeah.
8 foot long up there.
They are beating the heck out of that road, and
Well, they're done
appreciate
now,
you
but-
doing
seen
on,
it the other
staying
night.
on that.
But, you know, at first I was trying to think, is there a way we could go after them to do it, but I mean, you know,
If they're legal and licensed, it's
Yeah.
all on us.
it's just one of them things that happens on big trucks, a lot of weight, the road's hot, and here's the other thing is that road has been starting to come apart for the last couple of years, and we've done some other cut and rebasing, so that's what we're gonna do here, just grind it out about 2 inches deep, which is about an inch of the chip seal. We'll grind about an inch into the top of the asphalt layer underneath the chip seal, put the 2 inches of fresh blacktop in there where it's pushing and stuff. But when we ever do get to Race Lane Road, we're gonna have to mill that whole top off. So that's at least an inch and a half needs to be milled off of there to get it back to the blacktop, because that, for some reason, that chip seal is just not staying attached to the blacktop, and I don't know why. That's from basically the Buck Ridge up to about Bushelman's is where we're having a problem with the chip seal coming off. You get south of Bushelman's, there's no problem with it whatsoever. It's holding up great. And Race Lane, Howard, and Howard's Creek was all done at the same time. Howard Road, Howard's Creek Road, that's all holding up fine. None of that's coming apart. None of it's separating. I don't know why that section of Race Lane is coming apart. We'll just keep patching like this until we are able to do some blacktopping, but that's not our worst road. Or Morgan Ross would be the next one that we need to shoot our attention towards. This is a close second to it, so.
Okay.
And then last night, first time that I've actually had a burglar alarm for this building. And come out about 1:30 a.m. They asked if I wanted the sheriff deputy dispatched, and I go, most definitely, because I had no idea why anybody would be here at 1:30 in the morning, so.
Actually, that's the second time. I took the first one.
Well, that's the first one I've ever got. So in any case, I met Deputy Williams here last night about 1:45. He was here within a couple minutes of being called because he was in Okeana. He walked the building, nothing was going on. The alarm wasn't going off, but it said interior intrusion. But the alarm wasn't going off when I come in, and it wasn't showing anything on the panel. And he just seemed to think maybe it had something to do with the heavy rain that we had about 15 minutes before that. I guess it really come down a hard rain about 1:15, 1:20 last night, but in any case, just so you guys are aware of that. But I responded here, we went Him and I both walked through the building, all the doors are secure, nothing was, no broken windows, no nothing, so. That's all I got.
All righty, thank
Hey,
you.
hold on, I got a question. I sent you a picture. Did you see that?
Yeah, what's it about?
That's South Dwyer in California. And Tom, I sent that to you. How far off that center line will we maintain for weeds, for overgrowth, or maintenance? If you notice that, there's the weeds in that ditch are growing up about 2 or 3 feet. Is that
They're
something?
more than that, so they're probably 4 foot tall, but,
Yeah.
and if you look at them real close, they're loaded with noxious weeds.
Yep.
Is that something that we can take care of?
We're supposed to take care of that.
Because it's really
However,
just that one
well-
stretch between those two homes, because everybody else looks like they're taking care of their own.
Correct. And normally I get it, but with all the rain this
No
this
problem.
spring, I couldn't get the regular tractor back. So I can get it with the arm mower. We just haven't taken the arm mower out yet.
Okay.
I was trying to wait a little bit because I'm gonna have a whole bunch of arm mower work we're gonna have to do before school starts in August. So we're getting real close to starting that, but another reason why the noxious weeds have been let go there is the milkweed is there. And last year when we mowed that, we had a lady come out and just threw a conniption fit because the monarch butterflies couldn't lay their eggs. So what do? I was trying to appease her so the monarch butterflies could mate and lay their eggs and stuff.
Okay.
I guess I could. So.
Okay. The second thing I got is the key for the History Museum. We were going to make a duplicate for that and have Neil Westridge come up and sign for that.
It's in
So
the-
we got it ready.
waiting for you. I just
Okay. I'll let him know.
so there's a key made for because Mr. Kolb and
Mr. Westridge.
Mr. Westridge both are the call-out list behind me. I'm the first one. He's second. Mr. Westridge is second. He's the third call-out for the 1858 building. So those,
So, how many keys do we have out for that then? So that'll be one for
Jill Evans. has
Jill
got one.
Evans, and then
I've got one. Daryl used to have one, but he turned it in, so it is back there because that's the one I used to have 2 more made. That way I could keep a key in Tina's office, so there's always one in there. And then had 2 made, one for Jeff and one for Mr. Westridge.
okay.
So that is all the keys, and they need to come in and sign for them. That way, because all the other keys are signed for. When Daryl turned his in, it was signed. He signed it back in, and it was.
Because I know I don't have one. I don't. Never did.
I'm glad to give him mine and take my name off the list.
You're good. That should be all the people that have keys then, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
That should be it.
Okay, and the last thing I got is down on Race Lane and Alert New London. Where there's a stop sign on Alert New London, there's nothing that indicates during going through Race Lane as you're leaving where I live, going down to Okeana. There's nothing that indicates on the cross sides, on the east and west side, that the cross traffic or the through traffic doesn't stop. I had somebody come and say that they almost got nailed down at that intersection. And they said, can you ask about that? So if we would look at a sign there, what would that take to put one up?
First off, we got to go to the county engineer's office because we're only one section of that. They're the other 3 corners of it.
All right.
And they dictate what signs are put up and what are not. We cannot just go putting signs up just because we want to put signs up. And it has to be something that the state and the county both approve. and actually the state gets involved with it too, as well as with the speed limit signs, because we've got some folks that are probably gonna be coming wanting some speed reduction signs on some roads, and, you know, we can't just do that. That has to go, they have to come request you guys to do something, and you have to request a speed study be done to the county engineer's office. That has to be done and then submitted to the state, and the state says yay or nay on the reduction and how
Or
much
what
of a
it'll be,
reduction.
yep.
Or
But
what
now
it'll be.
that's for the speed. That's for the speed reduction.
But it's also the same for, like, if you want a school bus ahead sign, I can't just go put one of them up there. I have to get approval from the county and the state to put any new sign up.
Well,
The only thing that I could put up that I don't need approval is what they call an X3, which is a delineator. It's a 9x18 yellow marker that marks a drop off. I can put them up wherever I want, whenever I want. But any regulatory signs, I cannot, and that would be considered a regulatory sign or a warning sign stating cross street does not stop. That has to come through the county engineer's office. And I can't remember his name, who the actual traffic engineer is, but he has to come out and look
Okay.
at it and stuff.
Okay. I'll see what I can find out. That's all. Thanks for that.
Matt Loeffler is his name with the county engineer's office, so that would be, if your first email or phone call would be to Matt Loeffler with the Butler County Engineer's office.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you done,
Have you heard
Herb?
Have you heard anything, anybody complaining about the placement of St. Al's sign at Chapel in London? People, I've gotten 2 calls that
I
I've
had
almost
to-
got
I'll
T-boned.
make that myself.
I had
You
to
can't
get
see.
halfway out into the intersection
Yeah.
to see back to the Okeana or Shandon side.
Right at Alert New London Chapel
It'd
and
be the
Cincinnati
southeast
Brookfield.
If you're
corner.
on Chapel coming this way to cross, coming from the church there,
It's bad.
you got almost be in a lane of traffic to see around the sign.
Yep,
Is it their festival sign?
yep.
That's their festival sign, yeah. So, all right, I will see if I can get hold of somebody there then.
Call the main office over there. and
Yep.
Whoever the lady is answered, bend her ears.
That or I'll just go talk to her.
Or call Bobby Smith. He's head chairman for the festival.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
All right. Mr. Marshall.
If you would, please.
All right.
This is the quarterly report for the zoning department in terms of certificates.
Okay, you're good.
Yep, I'm good. Okay. Certificates, we had 21 new certificates that were approved between April the 1st and June the 30th. 5 of those were new construction certificates out of those. The new ones bringing year-to-date to 7, as you can see on the year-to-date. Total revenue, total year-to-date certificates is 42, and 3 lot splits that I that I show there on the thing, bringing the total revenue so far to $7,427, which is about $3,000 off last year's end of second quarter. You also have in your packet a application for the code enforcement zoning officer. I have received at least one, this is the one application that's completed. I had one other response to this, but the application is yet to arrive, okay? So I just give this for you to peruse. I would like to close receiving apps by July 31st in that respect, and get them over to you. Then we can arrange for meetings, or we can start arranging them now. It doesn't matter. It'll be up to you guys. Okay. The zoning commission. Now, wait a minute, I gotta find it again. The zoning commission met on July 17th. No, actually, 17th. No, it couldn't be the 17th, it was the 7th, actually. They met on the 7th. The main focus of that meeting was the application we received by Abercrombie Associates for Tim Tinsey, the developer, for an 8-lot subdivision on Howards Creek, south of Shaker Valley. As you can see on the map here, this is the location of it. It is 24 acres. We have received a preliminary sort of plat, very sketchy, very, lots of questions the zoning department had about it and everything else. I'm in the process of compiling those questions and sending them down to Abercrombie for their, to answer and come out and then arrange a meeting for the zoning meeting, possibly in August, okay, under that. But it is, and I will specify this, this is in the preliminary works, okay? It's not sold, it's not settled, it's not anything for the public to understand that this is what it is all about, okay? Any questions on any of the three so far? Okay. Violations, a letter was sent to 8130 North Dwyer, and following up on this, the owner has removed some of the debris. And I saw that personally because he was out in his yard working on it, cleaning it up. As of yet, I need to check today. Tomorrow I will check to see if the vehicles have been removed.
Dale, I forgot to mention to you today, but he was burning the stuff he was trying to get rid of last week.
Oh,
So
really?
he got a warning from me, first and only warning he's getting. Next will be EPA.
Okay. A warning on burning. I will be filing court papers I'm preparing them and getting them reviewed by the area court prosecutor, Mr. Schlossman, for 3872 Schomling Road. The target date to file this is this Friday. And he and I have had several conversations and emails back and forth on the wording of my affiant statement of events. I wanted to make sure that I nailed it a little bit harder this time, and everything else. And I will be writing, Chief, a letter this week sending 4837 Cincinnati Brookville Road. I'm also concerned a little bit about whether or not, because that is on a state road, if the state might also help us with that or something like that too as well, because they're parked on the right of way of a state road.
Yep.
Everything else, you know, the two black ones there as you go into Shannon, right before you get to the post office. They've been sitting on the road for a good 3 months, probably. And other township happenings, I think it's kind of, you'll notice if you've driven by, and you or not because it's been there for so long, at 5022 Cincinnati Brookville Road, there used to be, I say, a double wide trailer. The people who purchased the property, which is Zone Business 3, have over the weekend apparently took down the double wide trailer on the lot. Okay, that's down there by priority. A second dwelling was removed at 4871 Lehigh. I learned of this second dwelling this property was up for sale. And I had a call from a interested buyer on whether or not they could use the second building as a residence. And I basically told them no, because I said if it hasn't been used for a residence in over 2 years, which it hadn't been apparently, then you couldn't use it. So it has been purchased. I'm trying to find out who purchased it, just for my own edification. And in the long run, I expect that, and just that they've removed the second dwelling. So little things that go along that way. The lot between North Fork and storage buildings, and the storage building has been cleared, and the fence has been removed as well. If you've noticed that, how much cleaner it looks as you drive, just before you make the curve, how much cleaner that looks as you go down through there. I just wanted to point that out and say thank you
That is the proposed water line from Cincinnati Brookville to Wholesale Tires.
Yeah, that's driving that, isn't it, to clean it up? And the last one, 4707 Lehigh Road, Mark Sanders. This is the fire replacement home, replacing the home from the fire. His certificate is set to expire on the 18th of August, and he's not started this new home. I've sent him a letter telling him of the expiration date and what is needed to be done in regards to the two campers. If he has not started it, he will have to remove his campers. If he gets it started now, between then and there, I'm not going to say anything, the two campers can remain. If he doesn't start it, after this expiration, he has to come in and get a new certificate, okay, and pay another $400, which I explained in the letter. And he can only return to the building to live there with one trailer, one camper.
How do you get the exception to have two?
They just showed up, and I
I know,
just
but
kind of let him, I kind of didn't say anything. I wasn't sure. Okay. He's had lots of problems getting a contractor and nailing that contractor down to a price. Okay, that's been his biggest issue. I'll take the onus on the two campers. Okay, and that's it. Unless you have questions or other violations that you know of.
I am good. Mrs. Cox?
Okay. I would like approval to add the $2,898.34 to Fund 2901 in the Revenue and Appropriations budget for 2021. That's coming from the ODPS Training and Equipment Grant that Assistant Chief was speaking about.
So moved.
Second.
Who so moved?
Mr. Cole?
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Upton?
Yes.
Okay, also, I need approval for a then and now PO in the amount of $12,000 for payment to Roderick Matthew Huff, MD, for medical direction, for the EMS medical director.
So moved, but I thought we'd done that.
We did a PO or a motion just a few weeks ago, but that was for the 6,000 for the first 6 months, and he gets the second 6 months. So I believe we did do that.
We said we were going to wait until we got an invoice.
We had brought it up and it was tabled because we didn't have an invoice yet. So
Okay.
the trustee said they wanted to wait till we had an actual invoice. So
Which
I
we
told
got.
her to go ahead and
Okay.
do the full amount.
Oh, okay.
So she had it for the second.
There you go. Okay, which we did get the invoice. So okay.
I knew there was something, but I
Yep.
couldn't remember
Okay.
exactly.
I knew we talked about it. I just couldn't remember.
Okay,
So moved. Second.
Second?
okay. Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion approved. That's all I have.
Alrighty, thank you. Mr. Kroll?
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Brucker?
I've been interjecting it throughout the meeting, so nothing.
The only thing I've got is we need to go to executive session due to a letter from an attorney. And then you've got one for...
Nope, my executive session has just been handled, so I do not need executive session.
You do not need executive session?
I do not.
Okay. So let me find...
Let me share that with you.
All right, so I will make a motion to go to
I just received that
executive
this morning.
session at
That's what it's about.
7:48, pending or intimate court action. A public body may adjourn into executive session with the public's body's attorney to discuss a pending or intimate court action. Court action is pending if a lawsuit has been commenced, or it is intimate if it is on the brink of commencement. Courts have concluded that threatened litigation is intimate and may be discussed in executive session. Additionally, a general discussion of legal matter is not a sufficient basis for invoking this provision. Note that a member of the public body is not necessarily the public's body duly appointed counsel simply because the member happens to also be an attorney.
Second.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Retire to
Stop
executive session.
You give that to Tina for,
Is it gonna be lengthy?
All right, I'll make a motion to come out of executive session at 8:57.
second?
Mr. Updike, yes. Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept firefighter paramedic Michael Flavin's resignation effective immediately.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Updike? Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Updike? Yes.